pretty good. So that was probably about the third time I've been working on this weapon itself. I'm still experimenting with the Viel S-5 belt sander. I like it. I still prefer sharpening things by hand. I get more satisfaction out of that, but the belt sander is a good way to get things done quickly, and it does just as good as a job. There's no difference between, as long as you use belts that go from whatever starting grit you want, whether that's 400 or if you have to go lower because you're starting an edge right from scratch, a sword that doesn't have an edge on it, you may have to start down at 120, but nevertheless you go 120, you go 400, you go 800, you go 1000, you go 2000. I'm only going up to 2000 because I don't have a leather belt with the green polishing compound, which would be the next step, which is what will probably give this a real razor edge. So what have I learned so far with the belt sander? Essentially there is one key factor that I've been discovering with sharpening swords by hand or with the belt sander over time is blade geometry. What type of sword are you sharpening? You need to think about that before you're actually sharpening your sword. So in this case, initially when I was doing my long swords, I usually do like a 25-ish, maybe a 20 at the most extreme angle of a blade on the belt sander or by going by hand. If I want a little bit more durability, I'll start going into the 30 degree angles. But nevertheless, that's what I started with on this sword. But I noticed it wasn't cutting very well. Now, for one, it's a Prussian saber. And if you can see, it has a spine on it. Kind of like a samurai sword. It also, the spine tapers into the middle of the tip of the sword. Because this is primarily a thrusting weapon. So a cavalry person would be using this off horseback and charging right at a person and thrusting at them and thrusting out. And that's why they reinforce the tip with the actual spine of the weapon going through to the tip. So, albeit this isn't that great of a cutter to begin with. That's also due to the blade geometry and just the blade width as well. So what I decided to try on this last round of sharpening with this was to go somewhere around more of a knife edge, more somewhere in the 15, 18 degree angle, and that seemed to have done the trick for this. So once again, if you look at the blade geometry of this, how it rakes up to the spine on a very short distance. Because of that, that's where the benefit of a different degree or a different angle will help with this blade. So now I'm finding it cuts really well. As you might see by the intro, this thing's cutting through paper pretty much like butter right now. I think I would need the leather belt with the compound to get this thing so razor sharp I can shave with. I have put this across my my furry legs, and it does actually shave my legs, but it's a little bit, it pulls on the hairs just a little bit. It still cuts through and still shaves, but it pulls a little bit, which means it could use a little bit more refining. I did go to 2000, and frankly for test cutting and for cutting bottles with water and cutting thick cardboard and and mats and whatever you are going to use, this edge will be just fine. I don't feel the need to put a razor edge on this one, particularly because it's not a hyper cutting weapon. It's more of a thrusting weapon. So that's about it. I'm going to continue doing reviews of my sharpening with the Veil because I'm still getting used to it. I'm still not 100% happy with, my skill level on it. So as I continue sharpening swords, I will continue to post reviews of it, and I soon hope to actually do a cut review and a full review of this saber as well. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe, and hope you liked the video. Have a good evening.